So you see mention of this concept very frequently nowadays, which we call consent fatigue, right? Because the users sick and tired of saying yes, no, some, maybe all, to a number of pop-ups across your websites, your app flows. So if the idea is that at the stage of every fiduciary, whether it be a joint fiduciary or which we call joint controller because it's a GDPR term, you just cannot litter your app with consent notices or nudges or pushes. And at the same time, a new fiduciary in the scene cannot process your data without consent. From the stakeholders' perspective, the data principle, the consent, they only want or they only need a single point of consent So I feel the most elegant solve, which may not answer all questions, but at least makes sense logistically, is that your consent is embedded at the very beginning of the journey. But at the same time, it is guided by the organization's privacy impact assessment, so to speak, to say that in the normal transaction flow, these are the elements that get impacted, and you take a central consent for all of that. However, if there is a diversion from that flow, if there is a new processing activity, or if there is a new type of personal data that is being obtained, then in that case, you will need to have consent taken at that particular stage. So loyalty programs are an example, right? Not all of your users, not all of your stakeholders are going to engage in a loyalty program. They may go their entire lives without encountering that particular brand. So I don't need to embed consent for a loyalty program across all my users. That is blind consent. I don't think that's it's fruitful or practical. At the same time, if I am giving your phone number and your details as a primary identifier to a third party, then that needs to happen only with your consent, because the entity should not be taking decisions on your behalf. Or if I should give you maybe a wildly different example, we also have district as part of the Eternal Group live event ticketing. For some of the events for the Garba events that are coming up in Gujarat, for example, the organizers want data regarding the blood type of the participant, because these users tend to dance in the heat for so long that it's entirely possible that they faint, they pass out and everything. Although having the blood type is very useful, but that one personal data use case will not be applicable for 99% of my user base. So at that time, when we are collecting that data, we make it optional, but we also tell them why we are collecting that information, and we tell them how it's going to be shared with the organizer, and it will separately be subject to their privacy policy and their terms of use. So it's a matter of smartly knowing where to put in your consent nudges, at the same time not making it seem like you have to swipe through or accept a different document at each step of the flow. So I believe that is the workaround that most companies are having to use currently.